He laughed too soon and paid for it deadly. When a man laughs at a bad joke, his wife leaves him, and he has to listen to her recorded laughter over and over again. This is the story of William Shatner. William Shatner was born on February 25, 1926, in the city of Newton, Massachusetts. His father was a businessman who had emigrated to the U.S. from Russia. His mother was an American citizen of Scottish descent. Family were Jewish and raised their son in that faith. As a child, William attended Hebrew school. But while he was there, he became fascinated by magic tricks and would spend every spare moment practicing sleight of hand with a deck of cards. By age 13, William was already performing card tricks for audiences of up to 500 people. As a teenager, he performed for troops stationed in New York and honed his skills on board a cruise ship where he was hired as a magician. While he was at sea, William met the love of his life, a beautiful 17-year-old named Gloria Rand, but she was already engaged to someone else. So the two young lovers decided to wait until her engagement was over before getting together. In the meantime, they started writing letters to each other and fell madly in love through their correspondence. Eventually, Gloria's engagement ended, and she married William in 1947. They had 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. At this point, William was still performing card tricks for a living. But in 1951, he landed the role of the MC at a popular nightclub called Café Wa. It was here that William developed his unique comedic style, which consisted of mocking the performances of amateur comedians and making fun of them while they tried to tell jokes. In those days, it was often said that only 2 types of people attended shows at Café Wa: aspiring comics and hecklers. But William was so skilled at his job that even hecklers would often find themselves becoming part of his routine. One day, William made the acquaintance of another aspiring comic named Woody Allen. And although Woody hated being made fun of by William in front of a live audience, offstage, the 2 men became good friends. Later, Woody would say of William, he really knew how to embarrass people. I never had the heart to tell him I thought he was doing it too well. It was around this time that William got his big break. He was invited to be on the popular quiz show, The Big Surprise, where he wowed audiences with his quick wit and improvisational skills. After appearing on The Big Surprise, William became a regular guest on other popular quiz shows like To Tell the Truth, I've Got a Secret, and What's My Line. It seemed as though William's career was going great. He was making a good living as a performer. He had a loving wife and 3 healthy children. Life was good. But behind the scenes, William was struggling with feelings of unfulfillment and despair. Although he had achieved success, he felt that his life lacked meaning, and he began searching for something more. One night, after watching one of his own performances, William decided to visit a psychiatrist for some help. Now, during their first session together, the psychiatrist asked William, "What seems to be the problem?" William responded, "I have everything a man could want: money, fame, a beautiful wife and children, yet I'm unhappy. What's wrong with me?" The psychiatrist replied, "You're suffering from a lack of purpose. You need to find something that you believe in, something that gives your life meaning." William nodded his head in agreement, but he didn't know what he should do. The psychiatrist suggested that he try acting or directing plays, but William wasn't interested in those things. He wanted to find something that would allow him to use his unique talents. At the same time, William was approached by an associate of the Genovese crime family named Anthony Salerno. Anthony had seen William perform on television and believed that he would be perfect for a role in an upcoming film. At first, William was hesitant to accept the offer, but after talking to his wife, he agreed to meet with Anthony. The 2 men hit it off immediately, and Anthony soon became a regular fixture in William's life. Under Anthony's mentorship, William learned the ways of the Mafia and eventually rose to become a capo in the Genovese family. Meanwhile, William's marriage was falling apart. Although he loved his wife very much, he couldn't deny that their relationship had become stale. And as he grew deeper into his involvement with the Mafia, William began cheating on Gloria with younger women. She found out about his infidelities and left him, taking the kids with her. For a while, William saw his children only on rare occasions. But as time went on, he became more and more involved in the day-to-day aspects of raising a family. He began attending school functions and sporting events and gradually rebuilt relationships with his children. By this time, William's career as a comedian was all but forgotten. In fact, he didn't perform stand-up again until 1986, when he appeared on The Johnny Carson Show. Carson was a big fan of William's work and invited him to be on the show several times during the next few years. In 1987, William was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. In 1996, he published an autobiography entitled Shatner, My Life in a Flash. In recent years, William has become known for his work as a pitchman for a variety of products. He has appeared in commercials for Priceline, the law firm Morgan & Morgan, and the online learning platform Skillshare. He has also lent his voice to animated characters on The Simpsons and Robot Chicken. In addition to his commercial and voice acting work, William has continued to make guest appearances on television shows such as Boston Legal, The Big Bang Theory, and Psych, but perhaps William's most famous role came in 2012 when he played Captain James T. Kirk in the science fiction film Star Trek Into Darkness. As of this writing, William is still active in show business at age 97. He has no plans to slow down anytime soon. One day, William was performing at a club in Las Vegas when a man in the audience began heckling him. William responded by saying, "Hey, why don't you come up here and tell us a joke, pal?" The man got up on stage and said, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" Before William could respond, the audience began laughing hysterically. William was furious, but he couldn't help but smile. "That was a good one," he admitted. "I guess I was wrong." As the man in the audience took his seat, William leaned over and whispered to him, "You wouldn't happen to know any good jokes, would you?" "I'm always looking for new material," the man replied. "Sure, here's one. Why don't scientists trust atoms?" William interrupted him. "I don't care about science, pal. Give me something funny." "Okay, here goes. Why did the golfer wear 2 pairs of pants?" William rolled his eyes, but the audience was roaring with laughter. "All right, enough already. Let's move on." Just then, another man stood up and shouted, "Hey, I got a question." "What?" "Why did the Mafia cross the road?" William looked at him and said, "Yeah, go ahead, pal, enlighten us." The man said, "Because they were following the guy who was telling the jokes." Everyone in the audience burst out laughing, and William couldn't help but crack a smile himself. He might have laughed too soon because after that incident, William received numerous death threats from members of the Mafia. They were furious about the joke and demanded that he apologize or face the consequences. William refused, however, saying that he was simply trying to make people laugh. As a result, the Mafia put out a contract on William's life, and he became the target of several assassination attempts. Eventually, William decided to leave show business and retire to a private estate in Los Angeles. There, he lived out the remainder of his days in fear and paranoia, constantly looking over his shoulder for his enemies. He died on December 24, 2022, at the age of 96. At the time of his death, he was the world's second oldest living actor. Now check out this video. Man makes fun of police officer, gets arrested, or take a look at this one.